The land now known as Israel and Palestine has a long and complex history, stretching back thousands of years. This region has been a crossroads of civilizations, cultures, and religions, each leaving its mark on the land and its people. Archaeological evidence suggests that the region, historically known as Canaan, has been inhabited for millennia. Excavations have uncovered remnants of ancient settlements, tools, and artifacts that tell the story of early human civilization in this area. Around the 13th century BCE, a group known as the Canaanites established city-states along the Mediterranean coast. These city-states were strategically located, allowing them to become hubs of trade and cultural exchange. These city-states were known for their advanced culture, trade networks, and innovations in writing and art. The Canaanites developed a unique script and produced intricate art and pottery which were highly valued in the ancient world. The Israelites, according to biblical tradition, emerged as a distinct group around the 12th century BCE, establishing a kingdom in the region. Their story is deeply intertwined with the land as described in the Hebrew Bible. The Israelites, under the rule of kings such as David and Solomon, are believed to have established a powerful kingdom centered in Jerusalem. This period is often seen as a golden age in Israelite history, marked by prosperity and cultural achievements. However, the Israelite kingdoms were eventually conquered and destroyed by the Assyrians and Babylonians, respectively. These conquests led to significant upheaval and the displacement of many Israelites. Despite these conquests, the region remained home to a Jewish population. The Jewish people maintained their cultural and religious identity even in the face of foreign domination and exile. The land witnessed the rise and fall of empires, with the Persians, Greeks, and finally the Romans asserting their dominance. Each empire brought new influences and changes, further shaping the region's complex history. This period saw the emergence of Judaism as a distinct religion, with the Second Temple in Jerusalem becoming a central place of worship for Jews worldwide. The temple stood as a symbol of Jewish faith and resilience, enduring through centuries of change and conflict. The Roman Empire conquered the region in the 1st century BCE, incorporating it into their vast domain. The Romans referred to the area as Judea, a name derived from the southern kingdom of Judah. However, after a series of Jewish revolts against Roman rule, culminating in the Bar Kokhba revolt in 135 CE, the Roman Emperor Hadrian sought to erase the Jewish connection to the land. Hadrian renamed the region Syria Palestina after the Philistines, an ancient enemy of the Israelites. This renaming was a deliberate attempt to sever the Jewish people's historical and cultural ties to the land. The Romans also expelled a large portion of the Jewish population, scattering them across the empire. In the 7th century CE, a new power emerged in the Middle East, Islam. The Islamic conquest of the region, led by the Rashidun Caliphate, brought Palestine under Muslim rule. Jerusalem, sacred to both Jews and Christians, became the third holiest city in Islam after Mecca and Medina. For centuries, Palestine remained under Muslim rule, with various Islamic dynasties controlling the region. In the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire, centered in Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, conquered Palestine. The Ottomans incorporated the region into their vast empire, which stretched across North Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Europe. The Ottoman Empire's control over Palestine came to an end after World War I. The collapse of the Ottoman Empire marked a significant shift in the region's political landscape, leading to new power dynamics and territorial reconfigurations. The British, who had promised both Arabs and Jews a homeland in the region, gained control of Palestine under a mandate from the League of Nations. This mandate was part of the post-war arrangements that sought to manage former Ottoman territories. The British Mandate for Palestine, established in 1922, was tasked with creating a Jewish national home in Palestine while safeguarding the rights of the existing Arab population. This dual obligation created a complex and often contradictory administrative challenge for the British authorities. The Mandate period witnessed increasing tensions between the growing Jewish community, fueled by Zionist aspirations for an independent state, and the Arab population, who opposed Jewish immigration and feared being displaced from their land. These tensions were exacerbated by economic disparities and cultural differences, leading to frequent clashes and unrest. The British, caught in the middle of this escalating conflict, struggled to maintain order and balance the competing claims of both groups. Their efforts to implement policies that would appease both sides often fell short, leading to widespread dissatisfaction and further violence. The period was marked by a series of uprisings, strikes, and acts of violence that underscored the deep-seated divisions within the society. Section 5, 1948, War and Palestinian Displacement. As World War II ended, the question of Palestine's future intensified. The British, unable to find a solution acceptable to both sides, referred the matter to the newly formed United Nations. In 1947, the UN voted to partition Palestine into two states, one Jewish and one Arab, with Jerusalem under international administration. The Jewish leadership accepted the partition plan, but the Arab leadership rejected it, arguing that it was unfair to the Arab majority in Palestine. On May 15, 1948, as the British mandate ended, Israel declared independence. Neighboring Arab states immediately launched an attack, marking the beginning of the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Section 6, Six-Day War and Territorial Expansion. The 1948 war ended with a decisive Israeli victory. Israel expanded its territory beyond the UN-allocated boundaries, while hundreds of thousands of Palestinians fled or were expelled from their homes, becoming refugees in neighboring Arab countries. This event, known as the Nakba, or catastrophe in Arabic, remains a central issue in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. In 1967, tensions between Israel and its Arab neighbors escalated into the Six-Day War. Israel emerged victorious, capturing the West Bank, including East Jerusalem from Jordan, the Gaza Strip from Egypt, and the Golan Heights from Syria. This territorial expansion further complicated the conflict, leading to the displacement of more Palestinians and the establishment of Israeli settlements in the occupied territories. Section 7, Oslo Accords and the Search for Peace. For decades, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remained a central point of tension in the Middle East. The region was marred by violence, political strife, and deep-seated animosities that seemed insurmountable. The Palestine Liberation Organization, or PLO, formed in 1964, led the Palestinian struggle for self-determination. It became the principal voice for the Palestinian people, advocating for their rights on the global stage. In the 1990s, a glimmer of hope emerged with the Oslo Accords. These negotiations were seen as a breakthrough, bringing together leaders from both sides in an unprecedented effort to achieve peace. The Oslo Accords, signed in 1993 and 1995, aimed to create a framework for peace between Israel and the Palestinians. These agreements were historic, marking the first time both parties officially recognized each other. The accords led to the establishment of the Palestinian Authority, which was granted limited self-governance in parts of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. This was a significant step towards Palestinian autonomy. However, the Oslo process ultimately failed to resolve key issues such as the status of Jerusalem, the right of return for Palestinian refugees, and the expansion of Israeli settlements. These unresolved issues continue to fuel tensions and conflict in the region to this day. Section 8, Recent Conflicts and Humanitarian Crises. In the years since the Oslo Accords, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has been marked by cycles of violence and failed peace initiatives. The Second Intifada, which erupted in 2000, witnessed suicide bombings and targeted killings, further deepening mistrust and animosity. The situation in Gaza, under the control of Hamas since 2007, has been particularly dire. Israel has imposed a blockade on Gaza, citing security concerns, while Hamas has launched rockets into Israeli territory. This cycle of violence has resulted in numerous wars and military operations, leading to widespread destruction, displacement, and loss of life among the Palestinian population in Gaza. Section 9, Complexities of Native Status. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a complex issue with deep historical roots. Both Israelis and Palestinians claim indigenous status to the land, leading to a complex historical debate. Palestinians argue that their presence in the region predates the establishment of Israel, while Israelis point to their historical and religious connections to the land. The question of who has a right to the land remains a central point of contention. The international community continues to grapple with finding a just and lasting solution to the conflict, one that addresses the historical grievances, security concerns, and aspirations of both Israelis and Palestinians.